everybody, I'm K-Dog. Welcome back to the Pokesino Club podcast, Introdecktions, episode 2, a Pokesino Club bonus series, I guess. And today I'm going to be talking about one of my decks called Blazing River that I will be using in the 2022 Pokesino Club tournament. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the cards in this deck and some of the strategies I have. So let's get into it. So the reason this deck is called Blazing River is because it is both fire types and water types. Mostly water. I think the only fire I have in there is Volcanion EX, but it has actually a fair amount of fire energy, a fair amount of water energy. It also does have some dark energy. And well-known fact about this deck, it is my only sleeved deck that I have. I have my deck right here with me, so I'm just going to talk about some of the cards. Starting off with the ultra rares in here, I have Galarian Stunfisk. Now, this, if you ask Posy, if you email the show, it is a super overpowered card. It is crazy overpowered. I battled Posy with it, and that's like the card that won me the entire game. It was actually insane. It is such an overpowered card, and I will tell you why. Galarian Stunfisk V is from Darkness Ablaze. It has 200 HP. It is a steel type, but does not require any steel energy. But its ability is this Pokemon gets plus 20 HP for each steel energy attached to it. And then its attack for 2 of any energy is Trapping Bite for 60. Now, maybe like, that's not very good. 60 HP, if you do that twice, that's, 120, but then you gotta power it up. Here's why it is really, really good. During your opponent's next turn, if this Pokemon is damaged by an attack, even if it is knocked out, put 12 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. So essentially what that's saying is, I use this attack, you hurt this Pokemon, boom, you get 120 damage dealt to you, including the 60 that I gave you. So altogether, that's 180. Which can knock out a lot of Pokemon in one hit. Even some Pokemon Vs. So that's really good if you have a couple prize cards left and you just want to, burn through them, really get through them. And it is definitely one of my, sought after cards in my deck when I'm battling. Moving on to my next ultra rare, we have Volcanion EX. Now, I haven't battled with Volcanion much because, honestly, it takes him a while to get powered up. It is a double type, actually. It is a fire and water type, so that's pretty much the main reason I have him in here. If it wasn't for Volcanion EX, it would just be a dumb name. It wouldn't be Blazing River. It'd probably be like Wonderful Rivers of Beyond and all that other stuff. No, I'm kidding. I would never name my decks on that. But like Galarian Stunfisk, it has the pretty close amount of HP. 180 HP. It is from Steam Siege. Its ability is Steam Up. Once during your turn before your attack, you may discard a fire energy from your hand. If you do during this turn, your basic fire Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weaknesses and resistance. So, I don't have really any other fire Pokemon. Volcanion EX, like I said, is the only fire Pokemon in this deck. But then there's Volcanic Heat, which is actually not too bad. It is for 2 fire energy and 1 of any energy, and it does 130 damage. There's a little catch behind it. This Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. So, honestly, it's a pretty good card if, you're trying, it would be a good last hit, honestly, it could be a bit better, but then again, these are Steam Siege cards, and like I said in one of the podcast episodes, I forget, the older the Pokemon cards, the worse they are. So, that's all I can say. Next up for Ultra Rares, we have Crobat V and Crobat V Max. So, these are super, and I mean like super overpowered cards. Pawsy can relate to this. Crobat V is one of the most overpowered cards in the TCGO. It is crazy strong. And the thing is, it only does 70 damage. So, starting off with Crobat V, 180 HP. It does have... What is up with all the Vs in this deck and having close to 200 HP in ability and in attack? Anyways, its ability is called Dark Asset. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to your bench during your turn, you may draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. You can't use more than one Dark Asset ability each turn, so you can't keep on going. This is the promo from the Trainer's Toolkit version 2. Super, super good. If you see this cards on the if you see that box on the shelf, get it. Totally worth it. And its attack is Venomous Fang for 1 Dark Energy and 1 of any energy. And it does 70 damage. And your opponent's active Pokemon is now poison. Now, that is really good because every time you take a turn, so this pretty much does 80 damage because your turn ends, boom, poison kicks in to doing, and then it's at 80, and then once your opponent's turn ends, boom, another 10, another 10, another 10. And there are only so many trainer cards that can heal special conditions. So, like, Pokemon Center Lady, Hyper Potion, and I don't know the rest. And then finally, for the Ultra Rares, we have Crobat VMAX from Shining Fates. Now, I did not pull this card. It's actually kind of crazy how I got it. So, since I'm using this deck in the 2022 Pokesino Club tournament, I can't, once it hits May 20th. So, my brothers go to a park that is literally, like, right across the street from us, and a bunch of these kids have Pokemon, and they just give them, like, Vs and VMAXs, and my brother got a Sydney Rainbow Rare for a Moltres V. Like, it was insane, and it was like a $5 profit, but whatever.
Hey, pause here in the middle of editing the episode. It looks like K-Dog forgot to mention that park is where his brother got the Crobat VMAX, and then his brother traded it to him. That's why he was talking about that trading park. Just wanted to clear that up, because he forgot to mention it.
So, this Crobat VMAX has 300 hit points, and it has 2 attacks. First one is, for 1 Dark Energy and 1 of any energy, Stealth Poison for 70 damage. Now, this is a lot like Venomous Fang from Crobat V. It does 70 damage. The only thing is, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Actually, surprisingly, for a VMAX, its retreat cost is 1 of any energy. So that's pretty crazy. And then the next attack for 2 Dark Energy and 1 of any energy is Max Cutter for 180 damage. And that's it. It is weak to Fighting Energy, if you were wondering. So, those are all my Ultra Rares in the deck. And I'm just gonna go through some of the good cards in my deck, because I don't want this podcast episode being like an hour long and possibly having to edit it a bunch.
Thank you.
Yeah, so a good card that I want to talk about is Pikachu from... I can't remember the set name, but it has 2 attacks, 1 for 1 of any energy, call for family, search your deck up for 2 basic Pokemon, put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. And then Surprise Fist for 1 water energy and 2 of any energy, for 60 damage plus. You and your opponent play rock, paper, scissors. If you win, this attack does 60 more damage. So a basic Pokemon with 70 HP has the power to do 120. And gotta say, I'm pretty good at rock, paper, scissors. So, yeah. So that's Pikachu, and then another good card is Mantine from Sword and Shield base. The only damage dealing attack is for 2 water energy, Wave Splash for 60. It has 110 HP, and this Pokemon is one of the most overpowered Pokemon, from when I first started, because it was just crazy how much damage this thing would do. So Mantine, it's a really good Pokemon. Next, I would like to talk about the Inteleon line that I have going on here. I'm just find all the cards. I have 2 Sobbles, 2 Drizzles, and 1 Inteleon. Both of the Sobbles are from Sword and Shield base set with the attack pound for 1 of any energy. They both have 70 HP. Is pound for 10 damage, 1 of any energy, and for 1 water energy and 1 of any energy. Water gun for 20, and then for Drizzile, the Sword and Shield, it has 90 HP, and Rain Splash for 1 water energy, and it does 30 damage, and then Wave Splash, so Rain Splash and Wave Splash, for 1 water energy and 1 of any energy is Wave Splash for 40 damage. And then the Chilling Rain one is a Rapid Strike, same amount of HP, 90 HP. For 2 of any energy, Bounce, switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon, and does 40 damage. And then Inteleon. Inteleon is easily one of the best cards you could have in a deck. It has 160 HP, so it's a buff Pokemon. And the thing is, for 1 of any energy, Silent Shot, for 40 damage, discard a random card from your opponent's hand. And for 1 water energy and 1 of any energy, Hydro Snipe for 100. You may put an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon into their hand. It is a amazing card, and I'm kind of disappointed that I don't get it as often as I would like to. It is a just amazing, fantastic, spandupidious card. We're nearing the end. Bear with me. Kyogre, it has 130 HP, is from Cosmic Eclipse, the last set of Sun and Moon. For 1 of any energy, attach 2 water energy cards from your discard pile to 1 of your Pokemon. That could mean this Pokemon. And that really helps because the next attack, Swirling Waves, for 2 water energy and 2 of any energy, it does 130 damage, but discard an energy card from this Pokemon. And honestly, that's not that bad, but still, 130 damage, that's pretty nice. One of my favorite cards, a couple of my favorite trainer cards is, I'll make this quick. Mars, draw 2 cards if you do discard a random card from your opponent's hand. Bird Keeper, switch your active Pokemon with 1 of your bench Pokemon if you do draw 3 cards. Potion, heal 30 damage from 1 of your Pokemon. And Hop, draw 3 cards. So, oh, and I also like Pokeball. Flip a coin, if heads, search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So that definitely comes in handy. And then 2 Pokemon that I really like is Dreadnought and Choodle. Choodle, really basic Pokemon, 80 HP. It's a basic Pokemon. It's a really basic Pokemon. So 2 of any energy is Bite for 30 damage, and for 1 water energy and 2 of any energy, Water Gun for 50. So honestly, for a basic Pokemon, 50 damage ain't too shabby. And then Dreadnought, the beefy guy. It has 130 HP for 1 water energy. This is a lot like Water Gun, so for 1 of any energy and for 1 water energy and 2 of any energy. Vise Bite for 60 plus. This attack does 30 damage for each energy in your opponent's active Pokemon retreat cost. So, let's say I have Kyogre out. Its retreat cost is 3. And then for 1 water energy and 3 of any energy, Jaw Lock for 130. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. This is actually a really overpowered deck. Holy crud. Another trainer that I like is Professor Oak's Hint from Evolutions. Draw cards until you have 7 cards in your hand. Your turn ends. So, it's really good. I also have a energy retrieval in here. So if you have energy in your discard pile, you just pull that sucker out. For this one, it is the one before the final evolution line. Is Cubchoo and Beartick. These are 2 really good cards. Well, Cubchoo, Cubchoo has 70 HP. Beartick has 140. Cubchoo's first attack is for 1 of any energy, Chop for 10. And then for 1 water energy and 1 of any energy, Icicle for 30. And then we get into Beartick. Like I said, 140 HP. Slash for 40. And 2 of any energy. And then Frozen Slice for 150. Now, that sounds really good, because it's for 1 water energy and 2 of any energy. But, this Pokemon also does 50 damage to yourself. So, you could only use that attack 3 times, and then you would be bye-bye. But, hey, if your opponent doesn't knock you out and you just keep on knocking your opponent out, that's 3 prize cards. That's half the prize cards. So that's actually a really, really, really good Pokemon. And now for the final evolution line is Krabby and Kingler. So so I don't know what happened to my Kingler, but Krabby by himself is actually, oh right, I took out Kingler. Right, okay. So, Krabby is actually really good just by himself. He only has, 80 HP. And for 2 of any energy, Super Slice for 120. Flip 2 coins. If either of them is tails, this attack does nothing. Now, for a basic Pokemon, that is really good. And that's the Pokemon that I really like. I don't really have any strategies here besides, getting the basic Pokemon, maybe the Stage 1 and the Stage 2 if needed, and just using them. I always hope to get my Crobat V and VMAX and Galarian Stunfisk V. I don't care too much for Volcanion EX. But, that's it for the Blazing River deck. And I really like it. It is a very powerful deck, and I'm excited to use it in the tournament. If you did enjoy this episode, please feel free to drop a follow wherever you listen, whether that be Acast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. I'm K-Dog. You can't really find me anywhere else besides, I'm sometimes featured on Puzzy's channel, but besides that, I'm nowhere. If you would like to email the show, the email address is, podcast@pokesino.club. Tell me what you think about this deck, and yeah, you can find Posy Puppy at YouTube/PossyPuppy, and on this podcast. So, we do these, podcast episodes, hopefully every week. Sometimes we forget, but, yeah. Thank you for listening, and may Pokesino be with you.